Hello, and welcome to the Apple Tree. Today we will be reviewing Thor: Love and Thunder. Spoiler warning, as we will have some potential spoilers throughout this review. Thor is back in a brand new film. At the end of Avengers Endgame, Thor made Valkyrie the leader of the Asgardians, and he went off with the Guardians of the Galaxy to save the world one battle at a time, because he believes that is all he is really good for these days. However, after learning of an evil villain known as Gorr the God Butcher, it is up to Thor to save all of the gods from being destroyed by this deadly foe. He sets off to take the enemy on his own. However, he has some unexpected allies join him in this mission. Valkyrie and Korg, of course, agree to join Thor on his quest to stop Gorr. However, Jane Foster is also brought back into Thor's life after she is diagnosed with stage 4 cancer. Unable to find a cure, she turns to Norse mythology after she remembers Thor. In the past, Thor asked Mjolnir to look after Jane Foster, and when Jane goes to New Asgard to get near the destroyed Mjolnir from Thor Ragnarok, it reassembles and grants Jane the power of Thor, and she takes the name Mighty Thor. Thor and Jane finally reunite and grow their relationship and learn the true meaning of love while fighting side by side against Gorr. Will Thor be able to vanquish Gorr, or will all gods die? Ripe apples. Thor wants to find his purpose in the universe. This has always been his character arc in all the Marvel films. We see Thor putting others first, trying to save the gods, even though they don't believe him when he says they are in danger. When Gorr captures children, Thor does his best to save them because he really cares about them. And we also see Thor and Jane's relationship rekindled, and we get some more information about why they broke up after Thor Ragnarok. We see that they both were very busy and didn't have enough time to really spend time with each other, with Jane being a world-renowned scientist and Thor being the god of thunder and an Avenger. Therefore, they decided it'd be better to be separate. However, in this film, we realize that they both need to band together to become strong enough to defeat Gorr. We both see them sacrificing themselves to save one another, and Thor especially shows how much he actually cares about Jane more than himself and does some very self-sacrificing acts for her. Rotten apples. This film was said to have a lot of gay content in it when it was being promoted. However, a lot of that content was probably cut out after How Bad Lightyear did at the box office. In one scene, we see Valkyrie kiss a girl's hand, and Valkyrie also talks about losing her girlfriend and doesn't want to get into another relationship, but this could be as interpreted as friendships or as sexual relationships. It's kind of hard to tell. We also hear Korg talk about how his species is makes a baby by two males going to a mountain and holding hands for a month in a volcano until a new baby comes out of the lava. At the end, Korg brags that he did this himself. And this content is being forced into movies these days, and it's important that we recognize that this content is in these movies that if we decide to watch them. There's a lot of violence in this film. Gorr summons shadow beasts that kill and wreak havoc. They are terrifying for young viewers. Gorr himself even looks creepy. We see our fair share of battles with lasers, swords, and fistfights. One person loses her arm. We see another person's head cut off screen after he's stabbed in the neck and bleeds on screen. We see other people bleeding and die slow deaths. Gorr takes the head off a creature by snapping its neck. We hear a lot of Norse mythology and talks about gods in this film. We hear about how gods have followers that will not be rewarded for what they do because worshippers are just dumb and stupid. This is wrong. We also see some gods only care about themselves. Here at the Apple Tree, we believe that there is only one God who loves and cares for all of his followers. This movie is about a Norse god, so be knowledgeable that this kind of content is going to be in this film. We see Thor shirtless, as well as his bare butt for about 3 seconds, as someone flicks off his clothes. Some people faint when they see him naked, unviewable to the viewer. A man mentions the word orgies like 4 or 5 times in one scene. We see Thor drink in one scene, and he pours some beer on Stormbreaker, giving it a drink. When packing for the mission, Valkyrie says to only pack the essentials, but calls a barrel of beer essential. Hard to understand that one, but nobody really acts drunk. We hear Star-Lord tell Thor that in the beginning he needs to feel like the S word, E. And this is made into a joke, so we hear the S word about 10 times. And it's kind of made into a joke. Basically just trying to say kind of the Doctor Strange 2 aspect that you should try to be happy. We hear the A word combined with whole twice. And we hear the Lord's name misused about 5 times. The D word is misused about 3 times. And we hear the H word a bunch of times. There are no uses of the F-bomb, however. Additional thoughts. I really like Thor and Jane's relationship in this film. Thor and Jane realize they love each other and they need to be together. They do a great job at portraying this relationship and showing that Thor cares for his girlfriend and wants to do what's best for her. Jane also shows that she cares for Thor. Jane isn't made into an overpowered superhero compared to Thor, even though she has the name Mighty Thor. This was a good call. We see Thor and Mighty Thor have different times when they're at their best and other time when they need help from each other. And it's great to see that kind of a balance. This movie has some very funny quips and great humor with the Guardians of the Galaxy and Thor. This lives up to the humor we saw in Thor Ragnarok. But the gay content that is in this film that is being pushed onto us is not necessary whatsoever. Disney's been pushing this gay content in their films, so it is important we realize this content is wrong and realize it is in this film if you do watch it. If this content was not in this film, it would have been a better film than Thor Ragnarok, in my opinion. I really like that Thor is now watching over Gorr's daughter and is raising her to become a hero. This was great to see. I like how Gorr learned at the end that what he was doing was wrong, and he did the right thing in the end. And I also am glad that Thor got his hammer back finally. In conclusion, in the end, this film has a good plot and story. It finally gives Thor a real purpose, and it did Jane justice by bringing her back. The film sets up more movies with Thor, and I'm glad that Thor's still around since he's one of the originals, and the originals are definitely the best characters that I like to see still in these Marvel films. And I do, however, not like that they're adding gay content to this film. I'm glad that it wasn't as much as they were promoting originally, but there's still enough in there that it's still content we don't need that is unnecessary. I knew that about this content when I was going in to watch the film, but it is important that you realize if you go and watch this film, it is in that movie, and be aware of that when you do watch the film. Let me know your thoughts on the film in the comments below. Thank you for watching our video today. If you liked it, please leave us a like so we can know that you appreciated the video and make more awesome content. If you continue to like our content, please give us a subscribe so that you will get notified whenever we release a video. Thank you again for watching today, and we hope to see you around soon.